Hi all, welcome to Mentor Minds by Ashwati. Today we are going to do a quick revision. That is, here we are going to discuss 12 most important questions from the chapter Socialism and Russian Revolution of Class 9. Okay, so let's get started. The first question is, who were liberals, radicals and conservatives? Okay, so firstly we need to learn liberals. So liberals were a group of people that tolerated or they tolerated all kinds of religions, but they opposed the uncontrolled power of monarchy, that is the rule by the king. They were against the uncontrolled power enjoyed by the king, and they wanted private property rights, and they supported voting rights, but only to limited this voting rights. They believed that should be limited to only propertied men, and women should not be given the right to vote. This were the ideology of liberals. Secondly, we move on to the radicals. So radicals favored government by the majority. They also opposed the privileges of landlords and wealthy men. But these radicals believed in women's voting rights, and they wanted to end private property concentration. And the last one is the conservatives. As the name suggests, conservatives were preferred old order, but gradually accepted change. That is, they know they know a change should be made, but it should be made gradually, not all of a sudden. Okay. Next question is, what was Duma? So, Duma is the Russian parliament formed after the 1905 revolution. Okay, after the revolution occurred, a parliament was formed. It was known as Duma. Initially created to appease the people, but the Tsar dismissed it when it opposed him. Okay, this was just to appease the people of Russia. This parliament was formed, and it had limited powers and could not control the Tsar. So this was not a successful thing. Okay. Next question is, why did workers in Petrograd strike in 1917? So we know that due to severe food shortages due to war, there was a war going between the Russia as well as Japan. So due to all these wars, there was severe food shortages. When there was shortage of food, at the same time there was high inflation. Okay, the prices were going up, as also the workers were getting low wages, and also the working condition in industries was very harsh, that the workers had to suffer a lot. This led to agitation, and the workers started to protest, that turned into the February Revolution. Next question is, name two differences between Bolsheviks and Mensheviks. So we know that this Bolsheviks believed in a disciplined party revolution, which means revolution led by workers and peasants, which aimed at the immediate overthrow of Tsar. The leader of Bolshevik party was Vladimir Lenin. Okay. Next is Menshevik. They believed in mass membership and gradual reforms, and also they waited for a parliamentary system. Next question is, explain the impact of First World War on Russia. So, when the First World War happened in Russia, the industries could not meet the war demands. Okay, there was shortage of food, clothes, shoes and weapons. Also, the railways collapsed. So as the railways collapsed, the supplies did not reach the soldiers or cities. It was difficult to transport them. And also, so the soldiers deserted due to lack of arms and food. Okay, the soldiers didn't get the weapons as well as foods as this railway network was collapsed. And as a result, inflation also rose and grain requisition from peasants occurred. Then workers and women led strikes and protests in Petrograd in the year 1917. The overall result was the war created conditions for the February Revolution. So as a result of this world war, due to several shortages like food, clothes, shoes, weapons, all these things resulted in inflation, and as a result the workers and people, women, especially women, these people had to lead protest in 1917 at Petrograd, and this was not this war created conditions for February Revolution. Next, what were the main features of socialism according to Karl Marx? Okay, so the first point is private property is the root cause of exploitation. The ownership of property in the hands of few people always lead to exploitation. The workers or the peasants, they were working hardly but on low wages, which leads to the exploitation. So society should be without classes. That is, classless society was the idea of according to Karl Marx. Okay. Workers must overthrow capitalism through revolution. Capitalism means the honor. Workers must overthrow capitalism through revolution. They believed that only revolution could overthrow the negative effects of capitalism. So, state should control means of production in workers' interest. And the last point is ultimately establishment of a socialist society based on equality. So, basically socialism involves workers as a classless society with equality among citizens. Okay. Next question is, why did socialists oppose private property? So we know private property gave power to capitalists. Owners exploited the workers for profits. Very low wages and all will be given to workers. As a result, they will get exploited. Produce inequalities in terms of wealth. And socialists believe resources should be socially controlled for the welfare of all. The wealth should be divided equally. Okay, in the case of capitalism, what happens is the profits, for earning profits, the owners will make the workers work on unhealthy working conditions, severe harsh working condition on for long hours at low wages. Okay, they are keen on gaining profits only, but what happens is there will be inequalities in the society, and all the the workers are the people who has to suffer in the case of capitalism. So socialists believe resource should be socially controlled for the welfare of all. Next question is, describe the February Revolution of 1917 in Russia. So due to food shortages and all, the workers and women led strikes. Okay, the troops or the military also joined protesters instead of firing them. The soldiers were also supporting the protesters. Then the Tsar abdicated. The King Tsar abdicated on 2nd March 1917. So as a result, a provisional government was formed, which marked the end of monarchy in Russia. You have to learn these points in an order. Remember these points in an order. So these are the points. Next question is, what was Lenin's April thesis? This is about Vladimir Lenin's April thesis. So he believed that the war should be ended immediately. and the private lands has to be distributed to peasants, and all these banks and industries should be nationalized, and the power should be given to or handed over to the Soviets, that is the workers' councils. And last one is equal status to all, that is equality. The next question is, what were the global influences of the Russian Revolution? So this Russian Revolution inspired workers and peasants worldwide to fight for socialism, led to the formation of communist parties in many countries, and as a result provided a model of state-led economy and planning. And it also, this Russian Revolution spread fear among the ruling classes and landlords across the world. Next, explain the causes of February Revolution in Russia. So we already know that due to food shortages, inflation and low wages, economic hardship occurred, and military defeat, heavy losses in World War I. This, as a result, soldiers started deserting, and due to autocracy of Tsar, who ignored people's problems, and this caused anger among peasants. Okay, the forced grain requisitioning and heavy taxes. This, due to heavy taxes which were imposed on the peasants, made them angry. And also there were women's protests. That was on 8 March 1917, which is now celebrated as International Women's Day. The workers and women marched for bread, and army joined the protesters. Okay, and the Tsar was abdicated, and finally a provisional government was formed. These are the series of events which were the causes of February Revolution in Russia. Next question is, what were the main features of Stalin's collectivization program? So it began in 1928. The year is very important. Began in 1928 to modernize agriculture. Peasants were forced to give up land and join collective farms. Tractors and modern machines were provided, and some peasants started resisting it. So such resisting peasants were punished and their lands seized. As a result, the initial resistance, the collectivization caused initial resistance and famine in the year of 1930-33, but later increased state grain supply and control. So thank you. If you like my videos, please subscribe my channel. Thank you. Please support.